It is indeed a pleasure to be invited back into your vibrational level, and we would like to once again as well take a moment to express our greetings to each of you, and as well to express our gratitude for you once again offering us this opportunity to interact with each of you in your vibrational level, in your reality. Now, once again, before we begin, we suggest that there exists for each of you the opportunity to be involved in what I like to refer to as a silent communication, or that telepathic interaction and exchange of information that's available for each of you. And you will find once again as well that as a result of the energy that you have created in this space, that it's quite easy for you to alter your consciousness and to enter into that state that you refer to as a meditative state. And in that altered state of consciousness, to participate in an interaction with other entities that would be with us on this afternoon, or indeed, once again, that portion that you like to refer to as your spark of consciousness, or that higher self. And once again as well, many times you will find the information that you receive in that altered state of consciousness is much more pertinent to your individual needs and desires than is this information that we attempt to express through this limited use of a vocabulary. So once again, we encourage you to become involved and to take advantage of that opportunity to alter your consciousness and to enter into a meditative state and participate in that telepathic interaction and exchange of information. But once again, of course, as always, that choice is yours, absolutely. Now, you exist, once again, in a rather unique vibrational level in which you put in place various, what we refer to as human consciousness belief systems that are very difficult for you to step outside of. Not only are they difficult for you to step outside of, but they make it very difficult to give you some type of an explanation by the use of a vocabulary that explains not only the creation process that you're involved in, but all of the so-called creations or other alternative realities that exist outside of this vibrational level, this reality that you choose to be involved in your awakened consciousness state. You see, in this awakened consciousness state, you believe in time and space. One of the human consciousness belief systems that's very difficult for you to step outside of, and consequently, once again, very difficult in terms of utilization of vocabulary to give you an explanation of the reality creation process. This belief in time and space that you hold limits your capacity to understand that time is an illusion. It doesn't really exist. And we've used the analogy now many times that there exists within this same time and same space all of the alternative realities, if you wish, all of the other creation processes that are being created and involved and utilized by other entities and indeed by yourself in other, for lack of a better term, vibrational levels. And we've used the analogy that it's similar to your being able to tap into the radio frequencies that you know exist within your atmosphere, and you have the capacity to tap into one while eliminating all the rest. And so it is that you tap into this particular vibrational level, particularly in your awakened consciousness state, while eliminating all the rest that all exist within the same time and same space. It becomes a difficult concept for you to grasp, that it all exists within the same time and same space, and a time is illusionary. Consider all of the alternate so-called lifetimes that you exist in this vibrational level are occurring simultaneously, if you wish. You see, the difficulty, It doesn't matter what terminology we utilize to attempt to give you an explanation. It's still based on your belief in time and space. To say that you exist in the now infers that there's something other than the now. It infers that there's this past and there's the present, which you consider to be the now, and then there's the future. And yet those are illusions. Illusions that you in your awakened consciousness state absolutely not only believe in, but utilize to create and to validate the experiences that you're having in your day-to-day activities, and to validate, indeed, many times, that your past is fixed, permanent, that you exist in the present, and that the future has various opportunities. It becomes difficult for you to hold the concept that the past can change and does change as frequently as your future. We've utilized your belief in time and space to attempt to give you other examples of other lifetimes, other periods of existence, if you wish, that have occurred within this vibrational level. And the irony of it is that it's not have occurred, but occurs simultaneously, continuously. We've talked about the Lemurian period, for example. You see, in the Lemurian period, you understood that you were in control of the creation of the illusions that you experienced in this awakened consciousness state. And yet you created them for that same purpose, for the opportunity to experience the intense range of emotions and feelings that are possible for you to experience in this vibrational level. However, in that so-called Lemurian period, you, at some level of your consciousness, had a much deeper understanding of the methods that you utilized to create this reality. And so you changed it. And we utilize, once again, your belief in time and space in an attempt to give you an explanation when we say you changed it. It's important to understand that that Lemurian period exists in the same time and same space as the reality that you experience in your so-called awakened consciousness state. And so when we say that you changed it, we utilize that phrase in order to give you an example that's based upon your belief in time and space, which we believe would make it easier for you to comprehend that this so-called past is actually not past. And yet, you believe in your awakened consciousness state that this is all there is, that there's this beginning and there's the present and there's a future, and consequently at some point there must be an end. And that's all an illusion, it doesn't really exist. So in the Lemurian period, you alter your consciousness. You enter into and leave this vibrational level almost at will. Not only that, you enter into a vibrational level, into this vibrational level for experiences, and you alter those experiences while existing within this vibrational level. You understand in the Lemurian period, the time and space are illusionary. You can create that illusion in order to facilitate your experience in the realities that you're creating, but you understand that it's an illusion. It's not real. To give you an example, you have within your technological advancements in your so-called modern technology the ability to have realities that you can experience that you understand are not real, and yet they provoke emotions and feelings that come very close to what you experience in your awakened consciousness state. You can even experience many emotions and feelings when you enter into a theater and you see someone's projection upon a screen, and you understand absolutely that it's not real. You understand absolutely that it's simply a trick of lights. and yet it can still evoke certain emotions and feelings that may rival what you experience in your awakened consciousness state, but not quite. In your awakened consciousness state, you see, it's real. It's real, and therefore much more difficult for you to alter and exchange. And so in the Lemurian period, you created these realities similar to what you do and what you in your so-called modern society refer to as a virtual reality. And it invokes these emotions and feelings, absolutely, but you understand, once again, that it's an illusion. You understand that you're in control of turning off the illusion, if you wish. And in the Lemurian periods, you created and experienced those kinds of realities, similar to your so-called virtual realities in this particular incarnational period that you're involved in. And so you changed that. You changed that and entered into what we refer to as the Atlantean periods, where there were still individuals who had more of the understanding of the reality creation process, but there were also individuals who chose to put in place, for lack of better terms, a stronger veil to limit their capacity to understand who and what they truly are, to limit their capacity to understand the reality creation process. And you notice again, we utilize your belief in time and space in an attempt to give you an example. And yet it's simply through the utilization of that vocabulary. It's not really how the reality exists. You see, there is no such thing as time and space. Those realities exist within the same time and same space. You exist in the now. And so it is the Lemurian period and the so-called Atlantean periods and any of the other periods that you like to label exist in the now, in alter realities that are in the same space and same time as the reality that you experience in your awakened consciousness state. And so, you, in this particular incarnational period, have put in place some very strong human consciousness belief systems that it's difficult for you to step outside of, much more difficult than what you experience in the so-called Atlantean periods and in the Lemurian periods. Very difficult for you to alter many of the realities that you experience in this particular incarnational period because you choose to put in place the limitations. It's important to grasp and to understand that you choose. Now, we're not suggesting that you must make a certain choice, that one's superior over the other. It's your choice. It's your reality. It's your experience. If you choose to believe that you're not in control, that's why you entered into this reality, into this particular incarnational period in the first place, is to experience a reality where you believe that you're not in control in order to have that capacity to experience the intense range of emotions and feelings that result as the creation of this reality, of the experiences that you have in your day-to-day activities. It doesn't alter the fact that you create the realities, even if you choose to believe that you don't. We have suggested many times there are three things that you cannot change. You cannot change the fact that you create the reality in conjunction with all of the other entities existing within your vibrational level. You cannot change the fact that you are the God you search for. You cannot hide from your spirituality. It's who you are. You cannot lose it. It's not something that can be put away and you have to search for it. Absolutely not. You choose to limit your capacity to understand who and what you truly are, but you can't lose it. It's who and what you truly are. You are the God you search for. You are all that is. We have suggested many times there is not one entity existing in this vibrational level or in any other vibrational level who is any more or any less than what each of you are. And if you wish to experience that connection with that spark of consciousness, then we suggest that you learn to go within inside. The answers you seek are within inside of you. And the third thing which you cannot change is that you cannot fail. You're not into this reality because you are subjected to some kind of a growth system. Now you can have that if you want, but it's important to understand that you create the reality, that that's your choice to believe that you're not in control. If you wish to believe that there's some entity out there that some of your individuals in your vibrational level have labeled as being some type of a superior being who controls and creates your reality, you can have that. It's not right or wrong, it's your choice. It's your choice. And it's important to understand that it's your choice. And so you can give up the right to control your reality and allow other particular entities, if you wish, to control the reality for you. Those realities are still your creation, and you will experience all types of interactions with other individuals and experiences that will validate your beliefs, will validate that you believe you're not in control. And again, it's not right or wrong. We're not suggesting for an instant that you should alter a particular belief in favor of another. That's your choice. Absolutely. What we're suggesting is you understand that it's your choice, that you create your reality, that you limit the capacity to understand who and what you truly are. So in this particular incarnational period, unlike in the Atlantean periods in which you were involved, you have put in place this very, for lack of better terminology, again, a very strong veil. It's an electromagnetic type of energy, which is the closest description that we can come to the energy that you utilize to limit the capacity of understanding who and what you truly are. And so you put that in place in this vibrational level, in this particular incarnational period, in a manner that you do not experience in the so-called Lemurian periods. And so in this vibrational level, it becomes very difficult for you to alter various beliefs and belief systems that you have chosen in an altered state of consciousness, because you limit your capacity once again to understand how you control this reality while you're in your awakened consciousness state. And you also hold that limitation of understanding to other various levels of your consciousness, although it is possible, once again, to connect with that spark of consciousness that you are. It is possible for you to go within inside, to alter your consciousness, and to come into connection with that spark of consciousness that you are, and get a glimpse of the understanding of the unlimited capacity for creation that exists within each of you. However, once again, in this vibrational level, in this incarnational period, you limit that. And so, unlike in the Lemurian period, where, for example, you could be experiencing a reality similar to your so-called realities that you experience in your theaters or your virtual realities, in the Lemurian periods you can change that. You're not happy with it, you're not experiencing, you've had enough of that experience, you alter it instantly. In this particular incarnational period, you put in place this belief in time and space that is so strong that it's very difficult for you to alter. Not only that, you don't believe in this awakened consciousness state that you're in control, and so it becomes very difficult for you to alter. And so, it doesn't change the creation process. It doesn't change the method that you utilize. It's the same as what you utilize in the Lemurian period, only in this period, you make it much more difficult to do from a conscious state. And so it's in your altered states of consciousness, in your very deep subconsciousness, that you put in place many of the beliefs and belief systems. And again, we've utilized your belief in time and space to suggest that in your so-called between incarnational periods, when you die, in other words, and you choose to reincarnate, it's in that period that you choose many of the beliefs that you hold in your subconsciousness, that you hold in this reality. And in order to make it real, you have come up with this terminology of the DNA. And you have discovered that within the DNA there's all of this particular so-called unusable material that just sits there. And at one time your scientists called it junk that was left over from your so-called evolutionary process. However, they're beginning to understand that contained within that so-called junk in your DNA are the potentials for realities for you to experience or to not experience in this incarnational period. The possibilities and probabilities for you to experience certain illnesses, for example, are contained within that DNA. And you put that in place in your altered state of consciousness. And once again, to utilize your belief in time and space, we're giving you the example that you do that in your in-between incarnational periods. So you bring it into this particular incarnational period and you have it in this reality. And so it dictates many things that you experience, and particular physical things that you experience, although not all physical things. Some of them emotional. Some of them have to do with your ability to control your anxiety, for example, your difficulty in dealing with certain circumstances. Put in place in your altered state of consciousness, in what we refer to as your between incarnational state, and you bring it into this particular reality because you want to experience the emotions and feelings that are associated with that particular type of experience. As difficult as that may seem to grasp, it's how you create this reality. It's much easier for you to grasp if we were to suggest that you put in place these particular types of possibilities in your DNA that's going to make you a person who has absolutely no problems dealing with anxiety, or a person who has all of these physical attributes that are very desirable in certain societies. Oh, that would be great. That you can accept, that you put that in place. It becomes more difficult to accept that you put in place and you chose to have the experience, for example, that you may have limited physical capacities, and that the entities that you choose to enter into this vibrational level and to experience with agree to participate and to facilitate. And it becomes much more difficult for you to accept that that's your choice. You chose to experience that reality. You put it in place in your altered state of consciousness. Now, once again, in that so-called Lemurian period, if you're not experiencing a reality that you enjoy, much like your so-called virtual realities, you just simply change it. The only reason that you can't change it in this particular incarnational period is because you choose to believe that you can't change it, and you put in place that electromagnetic type of energy that limits your capacity to understand how it is that you create this reality. It's an illusion. It's an illusion. It's not real. We're not suggesting that it's not important, but what we're suggesting is that it's an illusionary reality that's a validation of choices that you have made to hold certain belief systems. And you've gone to great lengths to make it difficult for you to understand the creation process that you utilize. Unlike your experiences, once again, in the so-called Lemurian periods, when you entered into and left this particular incarnation at will, or while you were in a particular incarnational period in the Lemurian era, you simply changed a reality if you didn't like what you were experiencing. You changed the belief, you changed the choices and decisions, you changed your thoughts and feelings, you changed the reality. You have difficulty doing that in this incarnational period because you believe that you can't do it. You limited your capacity to understand who and what you truly are. You put in place the limitations for the ability to experience that intense range of emotions and feelings that's only possible to experience when you believe you're not in control. So consider that you hold within your DNA potential realities, potential experiences that you bring into your so-called awakened consciousness state based upon your thoughts and feelings, your choices and decisions, your attitudes. What do you believe? understanding what those beliefs are very difficult, and you made it difficult to understand what the beliefs are. Because once again, if it's difficult to change your belief, then it makes it appear that this reality is beyond your capacity to control. You choose to make it difficult to alter your beliefs and belief systems, but it's not impossible. The difficulty many times comes from understanding and accepting what your beliefs are. Many individuals would suggest that they hold a various belief and then constantly look for various circumstances to validate their belief. When you hold expectations for certain events to occur, then you hold a belief that contains within it those expectations. If you believe, for example, that it's difficult for you to control any type of your physical reality in terms of your experiencing pain, in terms of your experiencing illness, if you believe that it's beyond your control to have an effect over those capacities, then you hold as well the expectation that you can't control and you can't have an effect over those particular attributes, over your pain or over your illnesses. If you hold the belief that someone else has the capacity to alter your consciousness reality, to alter your pain, for example, or to alter and to facilitate your illnesses and your cures for illnesses, then you hold the expectation that some other entity, some other person can control and influence your reality. You hold the belief that someone else can influence your reality. You see, the reality you experience is a reflection of the belief you hold. If you wish to believe you're not in control, you can have that. If you wish to believe that it's possible for another entity to facilitate some type of cure of your illness, you can have that. Absolutely. If you wish to believe that it's possible for someone to, over a great span of your so-called distance, because once again, time and space are an illusion. But if you choose to believe that someone over this great span of distance can hold some type of a thought that will facilitate your experiencing some type of a change in your physical being and your healing, you can have that as well. It's not right or wrong, it's your choice. Is it possible? The only limitation to your creation process is your imagination. Imagination. One of the particular tools that you utilize to create this reality. Consider that all of your so-called technological advances are the result of someone's imagination. Consider that all of your so-called advancements in health issues are the result of someone's imagination. The reality you experience is a reflection of the belief you hold, and the only limitation to that reality creation process is your imagination. What do you desire? What do you desire? Imagination, to have it and hold the expectation that's the result of a belief system to create it. It's really that simple. We go to great lengths to attempt to give an explanation, but it's really that simple. The reality you experience is a reflection of the belief you hold. Those beliefs are contained many times within your subconsciousness. Pay attention to the spontaneous reactions and attitudes that you have to circumstances that you're involved in and that you create, and it will give you clues to the particular belief systems that you hold that's responsible for that experience. Pay attention to your expectations, for expectations are simply what you expect to be the result of the belief you hold. Many individuals would suggest that they hold various beliefs. Well, I believe that it's possible to do that. But they don't really expect that it's within their capacity to do that. And so while you may believe that it's possible, you don't hold the belief that it's possible for you. Many individuals have difficulty in being involved in relationships, for example. Oh, it's absolutely possible. I believe that it's possible, but I don't have the expectation. So it's not possible for me. It's possible for that individual, but not for me. Many individuals believe that accumulating abundance is not difficult. Well, it's not difficult for that individual, but I don't expect it to happen in my reality. I have difficulty in controlling and managing abundance, for example. And when you hold that belief, it has the expectation. And the expectation can be a clue of the belief that you hold. So if you don't think it's possible, even though you believe that it could be possible, but it's not possible for you, then you don't hold the expectation. And consequently, you don't own the belief. You hold the belief that you believe is possible, but you don't own it to the point where you have the expectation to experience it. And therein lies the rub, so to speak. What do you believe? Pay attention to your spontaneous attitudes. Attitudes are the result of various beliefs and belief systems, result of your thoughts and feelings, and can give you clues as to what you truly believe. Be aware of your expectations. When you're involved in a certain activity, what do you expect? Because it'll give you a clue to what you truly believe. What do you believe? There are many individuals who would suggest, for example, that they believe that there's some type of a particular entity who is controlling and manipulating their reality. And they're constantly looking for validations of that particular belief or belief system, rather than holding the expectation that it will occur. And so they believe, but they don't own the belief. They don't have the expectation. And so creating the experience becomes difficult without owning the belief. What do you believe? In the Lemurian period, you understand that you're in control. You own the beliefs, and you have the ability to access them at will, and to alter and to change them in order to alter and change the reality. Similar to what you control and create now in your so-called virtual reality experiences. You control it. The irony of it is that you do exactly the same in your awakened consciousness state. In this vibrational level, you just choose to limit the capacity to understand the method and the techniques that you utilize to create that reality. Nothing really has changed other than your desire to hide from the understanding of who and what you truly are. Your desire to put in place that electromagnetic type of energy that limits your capacity to understand the process that you utilize to create this reality. Your choice to limit the understanding that you are all that is. Because when you put in place those limitations to understand who you truly are, to understand what it is that you utilize to create this reality, to understand that it's within your capacity to alter this reality. When you put all of those elements in place, then this reality in your awakened consciousness state seems real. It's beyond your capacity to control. There are certain elements that you may feel that you have the ability and capacity to alter, but it's very difficult for you to step outside of the human consciousness belief systems and to understand that you're absolutely, entirely in control all the time, without exception. You choose to make it difficult. You choose for for the capacity and the ability to experience that intense range of emotions and feelings. It's an illusion. It's an illusion that you experience in your awakened consciousness state and to various degrees through all of your levels of consciousness in this vibrational level. Time and space are illusionary. You exist as a multidimensional personality in all of the so-called vibrational levels that you choose to exist in that are in the same time and same space. Your so-called other lifetimes, your past lifetimes or future lifetimes exist in the now. You have the capacity by going within inside, setting aside your connection and your so-called limited understanding of who and what you truly are. You have that capacity to set that aside, alter your consciousness, and to connect with those other realities that you experience, your so-called other lifetimes, which you like to refer to as past lifetimes. Those other lifetimes that are influencing this lifetime, as well as this lifetime that you're involved in is experiencing those other lifetimes. You alter the past as readily as you alter your future. You just choose to experience and to believe that there's this passage of time and space. Your choice, your belief. Time and space are illusionary, they don't really exist. You choose to believe they exist. Your choice. When you can come to that understanding, then you can come to the understanding as well that when you are experiencing those particular physical attributes that you would like to change, your experiences in pain, for example, your experiences in various types of illnesses, that you allow others to have the capacity to influence and to interact with you in order to facilitate so-called changes in your physical being. When you begin to understand that you hold the belief that allows others to assist you. There's not right or wrong, that's a choice. There's not right or wrong. Both individuals experience some type of emotions and feelings. Both individuals agree to participate and to facilitate that type of experience. There's not right or wrong, it's your choice. What we're suggesting is that you understand that it's your choice. That you can facilitate that control of pain if you wish, should you choose to believe. What's your expectation? You can facilitate the so-called healing if you so choose. What do you expect? You can facilitate your experiences in your so-called anxiety levels if you choose. What do you expect? Understand that the reality you experience is a reflection of the belief you hold. And contained within that belief are your expectations of what it is that you will experience in your so-called awakened consciousness state. Pay attention to your expectations. Pay attention to your spontaneous reactions, your spontaneous attitudes. When you're involved in certain interactions and activities with other individuals, to get a glimpse of what your beliefs are, of what you truly believe, what you own as a belief system, and then have the capacity to alter that belief or belief system. And once again, we would suggest that the best way to facilitate the alteration of that belief or belief system is to alter your consciousness, to go within inside, to alter your consciousness by maintaining awareness of what it is that you're experiencing and have a particular type of experience in mind when you alter that consciousness so that you can control it, so that you can understand what the belief is and you can change it. You can change the physical being. You can change what exists in your DNA. You can change it from being a probability to simply a possibility. You can change the energy that surrounds your DNA, and consequently change what it is that you experience in your awakened consciousness state. Go with inside. We cannot give you better advice in order to understand who and what you truly are, and in order to understand how it is that you create this reality, and how to facilitate changes in your beliefs and belief systems so that you can change if you wish, or you can enhance if you wish what it is that you experience in your awakened consciousness state. You are all that is. There is not one entity existing in this vibrational level or in any other vibrational level who is any more or any less than what each of you are. You create your reality. Absolutely. You are the God you search for. You are it. You are all that is. And you cannot fail to come to that understanding. You can put that aside. If you wish to believe that you have to go through some kind of a spiritual growth, you can have that. It's not necessary, but you can have it. Absolutely. You can have whatever it is that you desire. The only limitation to your creation process is your imagination. What do you believe? If you wish to believe that you have some lessons to learn in this reality, you can have that as well. It's not right or wrong, it's your choice. If you wish to believe you're not in control, you can have that too. It's not right or wrong, it's your choice. However, if you wish to believe that you are in control, if you wish to believe that it's possible to get a grasp of the understanding of this illusionary reality that you create, you can have that too. Your choice. What do you believe? The reality you experience is a reflection of the belief you hold. It's really that simple. Now, once again, we would like to express our gratitude for your offering us this opportunity to interact and to share with each of you. And until the next time that we have this opportunity, we will remind you that we are not separated by time or space. And should you choose to interact with us, you have but to express the intent, and we would welcome that opportunity to interact and exchange with each of you. And you will find, should you express that intent in your altered state of consciousness, that you will indeed experience that interaction, that exchange of information, the answers to your questions if you wish. The choice is yours, and we would welcome that opportunity to interact and exchange with each of you. And so until the next time, we would bid each of you farewell with love and with peace.
That was interesting.